Check, check, 1 2 1 2. For the people that's gonna tune in on the playback, you're rocking with your host, Son of a Jones, one half of Envy Online. And on this platform, as you know, we cover hip hop, mainly underground hip hop. And as of right now, underground hip hop is on fire. So I want to say thank you to the guests for stopping through. I got the pleasure with talking with Wavy the God, who's a dope producer. And as I said before, I believe he's going to be a legendary producer and his work is going to stand the test of time. Wavy, what's going on?
No, I'm cooler, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the sentiments right there, man. Like, I appreciate you to have me on the show as well, man.
Nah, no doubt, no doubt. It's a must because of what's going on right now. The other guests that I interviewed Spoda and I interviewed Water, who you obviously work with both of them.
Hmm.
And the same thing I told them, I think there's like an underground renaissance happening right now with the music and the movements, not just in New York,
Hmm.
but all over the country. So it's good to be
Okay.
able to talk with somebody who's a part of the sound that's actually happening. So before I get into the questions, I just want to congratulate you on the EP that you released, The Muse Embrace. I listened to it. Dope project. So I just want to first off salute you about that project, man.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, man. Like, it's coming out on all DSPs soon too, by the way.
Mm,
Like, that's, I'm working some things out. I'm trying to see if I can, go another angle, but like, right now, you can catch it off of Bandcamp for now. I think somebody bootleg and threw it on the YouTube already. You know what I'm saying? So it's all love. That
is
means
it
you're doing something good if they bootlegging and
is it
shit.
official? Like I don't want to get into the politics. Is the what's
On
the
YouTube?
channel
Nope.
the plug, is that official? Because that's the channel I saw it
Oh
on.
shit, they got it on there too? I mean,
Pocket the plug.
I mean, nobody talked it over with me. Like I ain't talked.
Oh,
Nobody talked nothing
I'm
over
not
with
trying to get
me.
into no
Like,
drama. I thought that was official.
nah, man. Like it's not. But like, I mean, shit. I mean, as I look at it, I look at it like this. As a consumer, where I used to be once upon a time, I enjoyed those little tidbits and stuff.
Okay.
That means that you're doing something good if somebody's going out their way to just, bootleg your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
All right.
you should, it's flattering. You know what I'm saying?
Let me
It,
say
it,
this.
it,
Let me say this. We got to get that right, man. Whoever runs that YouTube channel,
no, I'm gonna talk to them.
you know,
I mean,
hopefully you can do the
let's just
correct.
start with this. I have a publicist.
Okay. Okay.
You understand? So once they see that, they're gonna flag it,
Okay.
or they're gonna, is either I get my piece or not. Either way it goes, I'm getting my piece. I'm not sweating.
And I'm glad we're going there because a part of this interview is going to be a little education process with the business of production. So that's going to be in the middle. I got a couple production questions about split sheets and all that. So we'll get there.
Okay, okay.
So first, one of my favorite tracks on that, I think I wrote about it, I did a little blog, was the Facts of Life featuring Great God. And I got a tad biased because I'm from upstate New York and I think he's from Syracuse or whatever. So I
Mhm.
immediately clicked the button and I'm like, that's that beat where you sample this the Facts of Life show.
Mhm.
What were you thinking when you went in with that?
I grew up off that show.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? I'm of that era.
okay.
So when I hear that phrase "facts of life," I think about Tootie and them. You know what I'm saying? I'm of that era, so I was like, silver spoons and shit like that.
Okay.
Remember? I don't know if a lot of dudes remember that type. I know a
So
lot
I'm
of dudes remember that type of shit, but like
so I'm like
all them late,
I'm in my late
yeah.
30s. I'm 38. You
Mhm.
around my age or
Well, I'm 43.
okay, so we same age but a couple years
Yeah,
apart,
yeah,
okay?
yeah, yeah. So I just turned 43 too in December. Like
Happy
so,
belated.
yeah. Thank you. Um, it wasn't much that I attached to Facts of Life. It was great God idea as a writer to write a song called The Facts of Life. And after I heard that version, I just threw that's like the cherry on top, the beginning of the song, like I just threw that in the beginning because I felt like it was just right, you know?
That's the way y'all connected on that. Big salute, man. Big salute to you as the producer and salute the Great God as the artist. He definitely
Hmm.
brought that to life,
Salute to
man.
him. Yeah, he definitely did. He did his thing. He spoke his heart out on that shit. I was surprised that when that song came back to me, I was just like super surprised because it was like a very vulnerable record.
And
So it was a.
And I appreciate that from artists because the reason why like my ear sticks to the underground is because you hear those more personal records.
Hmm.
No disrespect, I'll try not to name artists because I don't want to seem like I'm hating on the artists on the charts, but artists have said it. You know, I'm just here to try to put a minute and 30-second song out to see if I could get it bounced to the clubs. So you don't get personalized records when you go into the mindset. I'm only cooking up a minute and a half song to see if I could.
That's a cookie cutter shit.
Yeah,
You know, I have a song that's a minute and 46 seconds, and that shit hard as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And that song is like 1,000 volts. That's me and Rome Streets.
okay, that came out a
You know what I'm
couple of
saying?
years ago.
Yeah. But it has more substance within that short period of time because I knew that we had a short period of time, so we had to make the best of it. You know?
Gotcha.
You have to capture the audience, you know? But when you just trying to like just shoot random bullets all day and just prey on a come up is absurd. You know, it sounds like you don't believe in your own craft. That sounds like you don't practice your own craft. You're just trying to find a formula.
This is
So
interesting coming from a producer. I'm gonna follow up on that, but go ahead.
yeah, I feel like like people just trying to find the back door route, like in everything. Nobody wants to like really put elbow grease into like any type of skill trade that they do in life. You know, just in general. You know, and even in hip hop, it will show because even you recognize some shit like that when you just called it out. Like like
Yeah, I don't want to
yeah,
say. Okay, I'll say the name only because I just want to reference it, and it was an interview on Million
it could be an
Dollars.
example. It
M-
don't have to be like bad talk. It just could be for
yeah,
educational purposes. We're
million
not here to
dollars worth of
slander
game.
anybody.
Yeah, $1 million worth of
Yeah.
game. He said it. So if you find the interview on $1 million worth of game, you know who I'm talking about.
All
Um,
right.
but yeah, so from your end, because he tried to say that it was because nobody's listening to lyrics in the club, and you're the producer, so you're creating a sound. Is that a cop out?
Uh, I feel like I feel like that's like a cop out in a way, like to say that on that person's end because it's just like because there's so many factions of consumers out there that approach the art differently. There's people that show up to listen to lyrics. There's people that show up to listen to the beats. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? It's people that show up just for a vibe, just to take their fucking drugs and shit, whatever they fuck they do, to get a fix.
Okay,
Whatever to fix their vices. There's so many colorful amount of individuals out there that will approach music with a different ear, different view, different perspective because everybody's perspective is differently. Like for his one opinion is like a grain of sand on the beach.
hmm,
Like and I mean just because status make you one in one place, that doesn't mean that your opinions can't be like ignorant to a
gotcha.
lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? But no shade. It's just actual factual Snapple facts.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna get into the early years before you got into your career. So when I
Mhm.
started out media underground back in 2010, I had the luxury of linking up with a talented producer out of the Bronx. He goes by the name of Rod Raspy. He did a lot of work with Dipset in the early days, and he
Okay.
gave me when I was around him, one thing I noticed is like he was kind of a child prodigy when it came to playing instruments. So one thing that I picked up early from being around producers back in 2010, the majority
Hmm.
of you guys are kind of like child prodigies. You can easily pick up keys and different instruments. Is
Hmm.
that your story growing up before you got on an MPC? Did you play instruments? Did you pick up keys, or were you into music that way before you got into
I
production?
I never picked up an instrument as a kid. I'm
Mm,
lying. Because let's just start with my uncle. Let's
okay.
start here. I had an uncle that had a guitar that had electric keyboards, pianos. He was a musician. I had an
Hmm.
uncle that was a real deal musician, right? That was like his hobby. He was nice on the guitar, and he used to annually try to show me some things along the way, but he used to take me to Sam Ash music stores, just he got me interested with all the tech part of the music.
If you
But I
don't,
never was interested in like punching keys. I wasn't into that.
If you don't mind me asking, where's Sam Ash located? Is that in New York or is that another region?
That was in Florida.
Oh, okay, so you from down south.
Yes. Like I was born in New York, but I left this motherfucker like when I was like 9 months old, and I grew up in South Florida most of my life, like Miami, Broward County area,
Okay.
majority of my life. I'm like from damn near the same area as like XXX Tentacion and Kodak Black, and I'm from that area of
Okay.
Florida. You know what I'm saying? So, long story short, man, like my uncle used to take me to the music store. That was one of the places he used to take me. And if anything, if I was a prodigy in anything, I was very much an art major because I was an art prodigy because I was doing like masterpiece type drawings when I was like in fifth grade, and these motherfuckers came from other schools to recruit me to go to their schools, like in grade school now, like. But when I was in middle school, they was trying to recruit me to go to a specific school so I could get a scholarship to like be an architect or some fly shit. I would have been like some other shit, but like I got into mad shit when I was a youth, man. Like
Ah,
I was a dude that used to get in a little scuffles here and there, nothing too crazy, but like a scuffle got me into a situation where I lost my opportunity to get that scholarship to
understood.
go to college.
Understood.
So, um,
Is that something you still?
and
Is that something you still practice on your free time?
no, I mean, I'm just a stand-up guy. Let's just say that.
No, I meant art. I ain't talking about the scuffle. Yeah, no, I wasn't talking about the scuffle. I'm talking about the art,
Oh,
like
like,
like painting
the
and drawing
art,
and stuff.
I definitely practice. Let's put it like this. I'm a very creative guy. I like to create shit. I like to create anything. I create anything that is at my fingertip
Okay,
that I could do. Anything that I
that's a
could
true
possibly.
artist, man.
Yeah, I love to create. I could draw, I could paint, I could do sculpture, like dead serious, no joke. So I could do model kits and do custom work on them. I could restore sneakers if I want. Like, I'm into a lot of weird hobbies.
Well, like
You
I
know,
said in the beginning of this, I said I noticed producers are child prodigies. Obviously, you're one of them, man. Maybe not in the playing the keys, but art to me, that's still one and the same.
I'll show my art off one of these days. One of these days I'm gonna exploit it and just, show what I can do.
So you talked about how old you are. So I'm just gonna go off the top of my head. Late '80s, early '90s. What did that sound like in Florida? Because I don't want to throw Two Live Crew out there. I don't want to throw Two Live Crew out there. But what did the music sound like for you growing up?
When I grew up, I'll tell you all an ironic story. I was always in the proximity of hip hop, no matter what. I think I was just always in a trajectory of just some fly shit,
Hmm.
like that Kunta fly shit all the time, son. Like even in Miami, I crossed paths with the legends of legends. You know what I'm saying? Like growing up, I had a cousin that used to stay with me, and she used to date the Chinese dude off of Two Live Crew.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? The Chinaman, like, you ever seen him after a while? He had like a fucked up arm. And
Yeah.
just for those that don't know, Two Live Crew, if it wasn't for Two Live Crew, you wouldn't have that parental advisory on your
Nope.
goddamn
You
records,
wouldn't
on
have hip
any
hop.
record, on any record.
You wouldn't have hip hop.
hmm Freedom of speech. They went to court. They went to like Supreme Court fighting for our right to talk crazy. And
So, real quick before we go on, man, I'm glad you said that. So I want to salute the people that come before us that made it possible. And although I'm
Mhm.
not an artist, I'm not a rapper, I'm still within the culture on the media side. So to all the artists that came before us that fought for our right of freedom of speech, the Two Live Crews and the others, big salute to y'all, man. Because if it wasn't for
Mhm.
y'all, a lot of the stuff that we're doing within the culture wouldn't be possible. So I just wanted
Yeah,
to throw
man.
that out there.
Yeah, man. Because it really showed. you know, today, half of the stuff that they were, I remember growing up and seeing this shit on the news. Like I had enough common sense to remember this shit. Like what Dan Quayle going crazy on hip hop and shit.
Hmm.
It was bad. It was like really bad. Like like the government
Do
was
you
really
remember when
trying
they
to
were
like,
stomping on CDs?
oh yeah,
I think it was a Tupac. I think it was when Tupac was coming out with an album,
like
and up in New
no,
York, one of the mayors was stomping
Tupacalypse
up.
Now. I think when the Tupacalypse Now came out, they like he pressed the African dude at the table.
Hmm.
I seen that footage before. And there was a lot of rappers. I seen footage of running down on bootleggers and snatching the tapes and turning the tables over like Jesus when he saw the gambling at the temple. You know, like I seen a lot and heard a lot of shit. Like bootleggers was treated a little differently because the dynamic in the business was differently. Because when they was selling those physicals like that, that was like their bread and butter. There was no streaming, no nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
So after the CD eliminated that shit, intellectual property for the artists, you know, shit got really weird for recording artists. And then we went back into this culture, everybody's starting to collect vinyl now. Fast
I'm one
forward,
of them. I'm one of them.
everybody
I'm
collects
buying
vinyl now.
CDs,
And
tapes, and vinyls.
it gives the new artists that have sense a fighting chance to actually eat off of their artistry. You know what I'm saying? If they're selling the right product, that is. You know,
We gonna get into that because to me that's a part of the underground renaissance is artists recognizing that okay they kind of tricked us with this streaming situation.
it did.
We I'm from an era. I told you my age.
Bamboozled.
I'm 38, so I remember supporting my favorite artists when I lived in Long Island years ago. I could go to any mall from Long Island to the Bronx, and there'll be an underground artist. Yo, can you buy my CD? And to me, it always made sense. It's a hand-to-hand connection. I put the money in your hand. You give me the CD. I support you, and we keep it
Okay.
moving. This streaming thing where you could get 5 million streams and make $100 don't make sense. Never made sense.
Bro,
So I
bro.
salute all the
I'll tell you
underground
what,
artists and producers that are going back to what worked.
I'll tell you a true story on some shit, cause like I literally I think on one album I could say, and this is not cap, I streamed, and this is during the Kendrick Lamar, and I feel proud to say this shit.
pop,
You know what I'm saying? I feel proud to say
pop
that
your
shit.
jacket, man.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say it though. During that Kendrick and Drake battle and whatnot, during that week one of that battle, Buck 50 came out.
Okay.
So after they was finishing listening to Kendrick and these guys going back and forth, they came and listened to me and Rome. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I feel like that was like I feel like that was big for me because that was the first time I ever did like 300,000 of that range. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot.
That is.
You know what I'm saying? 300,000, and it's not that's not the exact number, but it was in the 300,000 range, and I was like flabbergasted by it. I was like, damn, this was during the battle week, and I look at myself as like one of the little guys, because I ain't really on some astronomical big name level yet. I'm pseudo known, pseudo legend, but I don't look at myself as like a person that really is like, a household name in the regular underground hip hop scene
Okay.
because I don't think so personally, but like it's getting
So
there because it takes work to get there.
can I ask you a question since you said that?
Huh?
Who are some of the producers that inspired you on your journey within the last 10 or 20 years because you just said you don't think you're there yet, but there has to be some producers that you look at that say, yo, when I get to
Growing
my
up,
spot, I want to reign like that producer.
man, I grew up, through my time before I started pressing buttons and wanting to be a producer. Guys like Madlib, RZA, Primo, you know what I'm saying? Pete Rock, people like
Salute to Pete Rock, man. He about to win a Grammy. I'm gonna put that in the air. He gonna win a Grammy for that album with Common.
that's dope. That's dope. That's salute to them. It's funny. I met Common in the most bizarre way ever too. Like in Florida, at Aventura Mall. It was on my birthday too. I was going up to the movie theater. I was with my child's mother, and he was with his family, and
Okay.
they were going opposite ways. And I seen this dude, and my baby, my BM, she was just happy. She was a fan of Common, so I was just like, I just said one of his lyrics from the Resurrection album, and he turned around and he said it back, and he called me down for a photo, and that was like
That's
one of the
dope.
dope. Yeah, that was like before Wavy the God. That was years ago. I met a lot of hip hop dudes for a Florida dude. Like, look at it from my perspective. I'm from Florida. I don't live in New York like on a daily. Sometimes you have a greater chance of running into people if you live in the Mecca. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, for real. for me being out here, I ran into a lot of people I never thought I'd ever meet ever in my life. Like, and I sat in the room. Some of these guys I smoked spliffs with. Some of these guys done met my kid. Like people that I grew up listening to. It's weird. You know what I'm saying? Had legends in my crib. And I'm like, damn, I grew up listening to this nigga. Now he's in my crib just chilling, playing video games with me. You know what I'm saying? It's weird.
It,
You
it
know, like,
it's weird, but it's a part of your story.
yeah, man, it is. It is. It's like Surreal Life. Remember that reality show
Yeah,
on VH1? It's like Surreal
that's a
Life.
classic.
A lot of bizarre shit happened on that show, boy. But like, let's get back on subject. We was talking about the producers that inspire me,
Hmm.
and those guys were like, especially Madlib, and shout out to Madlib, man. We need to like, you know, donate to that guy, man. That guy is a genius to me, and I think that like, I think his house got burnt down in L.A. and they need to like, I think the community need the community. All of us enjoy Madlib in our life, and we all know it, and even if it's like 5 beans, man, I think everybody should just donate to that man and his family, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been independent for a long time. They're like he's like the forefather of lo-fi and the hip hop that we like to listen to at this point. The shit that he made really transmuted into what we, as evolution, like the boom bap that we make in today, the shit that we slapping and making today. The forefathers, man.
I want you. I know you just went through it, but I think it's important that we give back to the culture. As you said,
Hmm.
we enjoyed his music one way or other from the underground. So for the people that's gonna watch this on the playback, we obviously all heard about the fires that happened on the West Coast in LA. And as you
Hmm.
stated, the producer Madlib lost his property or whatever
Hmm.
happened in those LA
Hmm.
fires. So if anybody who supports Madlib, how will we donate? Is there a GoFundMe link out there that we could look
There
for?
is on his page.
Okay.
There is directly on his page. You can set any amount you want. I think they gauge it to however you want, man. I don't think this is some scamming ass shit, man. I think it's legit. Like,
It is.
I just feel like, and I don't mean to get weird or anything. I never met son in my life ever in my life, but I just have God in my heart, and I just feel like if these people will actually go out on the internet, put themselves out there, put their business in, their vulnerable business out there, and these are people on a big scale. This guy got nominated for Grammys and shit, and he put himself out there like out there like that. Community needed community. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
definitely.
they need to oblige, and that's how I look at it.
That's definitely. I think there was a situation a while back with, I want to say, Cool Herc, where he got sick like 10 or 15 years ago. And you would like to see the
Mm.
community come together to support one of the forefathers of hip hop, since there's no union. And maybe that's another conversation. Like there needs to be a union for stuff like this to support when an artist
I
goes through
agree.
a fire and they lose all their belongings or they're having a health crisis. Like, so hopefully the higher ups in hip hop, or at least the hip hop artists, can
Mhm.
somehow wrap their head around starting a union, because I think that really needs to be next.
I believe that. I think I spoke with somebody about this once before too, a couple of times, man. Because they always talk about this shit, man. You don't, they talk shit about the old school. Because I heard dudes say it, man. They talk shit about the old school rappers. Some of these dudes are arrogant. Some of them are not. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that actually are not is the ones that's going through the hard times.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, community ain't community. We talk a good talk, man, but when it boils down to it, nobody wants to push the envelope to actually look out for these brothers. You know what I'm saying? I met Cool Herc before, man, in the most bizarre place ever at a Nas album release party at slash Drink Champs episode. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, and it was like, that was one of the surreal situations. And it was like, just being able to meet the Godfather like that, it was like one of those coming of passage type shit. And some don't look at it that way because, a lot of people are caught up in their ego and arrogance. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, there was, I didn't like there's a certain blogger, I won't say his name. He made some comments about LL Cool J. And I was just like, I don't know where you're going with this. I know you're a big blogger, but no LL Cool J slander should ever come out your mouth, man. Like,
I mean,
and that's where we're.
unless you have cold hard facts that people are dirtbags. I mean, like,
No,
you know,
it was just yeah.
sometimes you just leave it alone
Yeah, it
because
was. Oh, these older rappers are old and don't have money like us, and I'm like, yeah, that's what's effing up hip hop. Y'all looking at the money part aspect of it, and not the
it's
actual
evolution
art.
though.
Yeah,
Because if it wasn't for like some of these guys that you throwing shade at, there wouldn't be a lot of avenues, platforms, lanes.
talk
You know, they was making the highway for you motherfuckers to have a lane. You know what I'm saying? If
facts.
that make any sense.
No, it does. I wouldn't know
It,
hip hop
there
if it
was
wasn't for my
they were,
dad playing LL Cool J back in 1988.
you know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers is icon. Look at the back of LL Cool J's first album. What's one of the most popular sneaker silhouette these
Mm-hmm.
days? What sneaker was he wearing in the back? What year was that album?
What was it, 86? Because
80,
84,
86, 85.
yeah, it was before I
I
was
think it was
born.
85. Cause he had on the Jordan 1s on the back of that album with the radio posing and shit. That's an iconic shoe worn to this day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that was probably the first of its kind. Somebody posed on an album cover with that shoe. Hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
40
You know,
years
like
later, it stood the
pioneer,
test of time.
it's a pioneer shit, man. Like nobody wants to like, they show respect to like the new innovators. You know, they show respect to like tech savvy innovators. It's
Mm-hmm.
weird because these are like dudes that borderline grew up off of like having. When I finished grade school, they started giving out laptops in school to
Okay.
kids. You know, so when they started doing that, that's when shit started getting like real weird with kids. The
Yeah.
AOLs and
AIM chats, all that weird
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
it's like you watch the internet come to life. Like when it was, I
We from
remember
a
once
special
upon a time when we didn't
generation,
have
man.
no,
We remember
yeah,
life before the internet. We remember life when the internet started, and we watched it grow.
yeah, dead ass. Because I remember the time I used to talk on the phone, man. And, like I used to talk to girls on the phone, regular phone, house phone, and my grandma was on the other end. Just all I
Listen
hear
to
is
eavesdrop.
nostrils and shit. Like eavesdropping, all I hear is nostrils. Like, well, you over there talking crazy on the phone, buddy. She was like Guyanese. She used to talk wild,
Yeah.
like with a heavy accent. She talk crazy, chase me off the phone, cuss out the girl, all type of shit. But like, I used to get that energy, bro. I'm like, I know how to live without this shit.
Yeah.
Without all of this, like I could survive. I know people will melt down and turn into feta cheese if they didn't have their tablets or their phones.
Yeah, I
Or
told people. I remember I was damn near an adult before I got a Facebook account. So like I got on the internet a couple years later. So I remember life in the clubs, in real life, interacting with people
it was more creative
all the
then.
way up into the age of 21, and then the internet, whatever. But back on. I want to get back into
Go ahead, bro.
the story. So we talking about legendary producers. Before I get into your career and when you turn into Wavy, who would you put personally on your producer as a quote unquote Mount Rushmore? If you had a Mount Rushmore of producers, who would you put on there?
Madlib, of course, number one. We got I gotta throw Doom up in there too. We gotta throw RZA and like 94, 95 RZA. Like you have like a variant.
Mm-hmm.
94, 95 RZA. It's like 2K where you pick like a throwback team. Um, How many we got? We got like three or four. We got like four. We need one more. We got Primo, bro.
You know what is dope about that last one, Primo? So I interviewed a DJ a while ago. So I interviewed a DJ by the name of DJ Thorough out of Harlem.
Hmm.
And I asked him a question about the sound of the music at that time. And this was 2010, so this is still internet era. He said, there's three producers that are there's three DJs that are actually producers that make records for the radio. DJ Premier, Marley Marl, and I forgot the third one. The third one is slipping my head right now. But he named DJ Premier as a producer who was actually a DJ, but a producer making hits.
Hmm.
Marley Marl, and Pete Rock. That's who it was. DJ Premier, Marley Marl, and Pete Rock, man. So that's definitely a good pick.
they're like the last of the dying breed of like producer DJ
And that's what he was
combination.
talking about back in 2010.
Yeah, they're like they're like they're like the three legendary DJ producers, you know, like for real, for real. There's more of them, but none of them do it like those three though.
Hmm.
Like I ain't going to deny it.
So as we're growing up in Florida and you're starting to
Hmm.
become yourself after high school and becoming a young adult,
Hmm.
when did you when did you start to get the producer itch that, hey, I want to get into this life? Was it a record you heard? When did you start actually wanting to produce?
A lot. It was a lot of things that, because the thing with me is that it was like more like I was the dude that used to freestyle. So before I even like thought about producing, number one, I knew I had an ear for music. I just didn't know how to interpretate it. You know, I used to freestyle, I used to rap and shit, but I wasn't really of a great of a rapper or anything like that.
Hmm.
But I just knew how to hold my own, but I would just wasn't, you know, just wasn't like built for that shit, you know, like whatever and whatnot. But I always had an ear for music, you know, but like I tried my hand to make beats like probably around like 2009, 2010.
Okay.
And I dropped it because it was too difficult. You know, I knew people that was making beats on MPCs and shit, and it was kind of like gatekeeping, you know, but like you know, after a while I moved out of like Florida and I ended up in Oklahoma, between Oklahoma and Arkansas in the rural area.
Ah, you was
And
you was off the grid.
yeah, and I got real bored and you know, all I had was music, bro, and like at the end of the day, I was getting bored with what I was hearing at the time. So I was like, in order to like entertain myself, how about I make my own beats so I could like be entertained. At this time, a little bit of inspiration from Ninth Wonder, watching rhythm roulettes, and you know, I was picking up on West Side Gun around 2016, around that time, and it kickstarted into like 2016. I was like, you know, I'm gonna make beats, you know. And I was listening to Action Bronson and all the, you know how that shit go, because you know how the music was around in
Shot
2016. It was
man, that was a
really good.
special era because yeah, we had the Drakes and the people on the top of the chart, but Action Bronson, Fred
Currency was dropping ill shit.
Fred the
Like,
Godson, Currency, Vado, like the underground
hmm
acts were very seasoned at that time.
yeah, it was a strong setup, man. It was a strong situation.
And
Even like
shout out to Knife Wonder. Let me go back on that. Shout out to Knife Wonder because the artist that I heard from Knife Wonder is Rhapsody. I believe Rhapsody comes from the Knife Wonder tree. So shout out to Knife Wonder for that.
okay, like Rhapsody is dope. I like her first album, bro. Her first album was fire. Like from NC, right?
Yeah, North Carolina. I want to say it was something with Cooley. I gotta look at it because I interview her too. I gotta go back and get
She's
at the
dope.
notes. Yeah.
She's dope, man. Like she does her thing, man. I think she really sits there and like calculates her pen, you know? But
So
go ahead, go.
so during this time in Oklahoma, if
Mhm.
you're still there and you're starting to teach yourself how to produce, do
Mhm.
you remember the first, not the first, but do you remember the first time you heard a beat and you was like, I got something? When was the aha moment when you was like, all right, I've been practicing for 6 months or a year, but this shit is fire?
Man, it was tedious. You know, I was getting advice, you know, I had a younger brother that was making beats. Um and he was making different type of beats. You know, I started out making all type of variants of beats. I was making trap beats, I was making boom bap beats, I was making different shit. I even made Cambodian music at one point in time just to understand the DAW, right?
Hmm.
And when I was the aha was like trial, it came after trial number like 40. Trial number 40.
Okay.
Trial because I erased everything before I actually aha. Like the bulb went off. Everything before that, them shits is lost in the sauce. Them shits disintegrated into
You don't got that on a
space and
secret
time.
hard drive somewhere?
Nah, man. Because I actually found a way to make beats. Like I found a way to make beats on GarageBand.
Okay.
I tried to find every little way. the poor man's way up to what I got now. I got the shit now. They do my thing, but I started out with the poor man setup, for real. Using what I had and making the best out of it. I was making good money. I went to, drove like an hour or two into town because I was living in a rural area. So I drove all the way into Arkansas, tried to find a music store in an area that had like a city or something like that. Find a music store and get like a controller so I could upgrade my situation. And I was building from there. And then I jumped on the FL Studio, and that's when shit started going crazy for me. Like FL Studio is like where I started like actually getting confidence to go and hand out beats to other MCs and shit.
Good segue. So now I wanna go here. So that era, if I remember correctly, yes, cats were sending emails out as producers to artists. What was the way? How did you get into the industry? Because it was kind of tricky. There's a lot of gatekeeping. There was
man.
There was
it wasn't hard at
a
all.
thousand
It wasn't hard.
artists. I mean, 1,000
What
producers sending beats to one artist. So how did that work for you?
what I did is that I am a researcher. I research and I love hip hop, man. I find dope people. I'm gonna find them no matter what. I'm from the cloth of the purple tape. I'm gonna find shit of that of the purple.
Ah,
I'm gonna find shit of the purple tape. I'm gonna find purple tape caliber music. I'm gonna find it. And whether it's the little guy or the big guy, pause, is gonna be somebody
pause
that
accepted. Pause accepted on that.
it was quick too. Um, I was on my shit, man. I was really digging deep and finding new artists. Then I look at, they don't really got like a big following. They don't really got at the time. I got all the people that I fuck with now. They didn't have a big following when I first met them. You know what I'm saying? I got like the first placement with an artist named Jamal Gasol. You
Okay,
know,
that's
because
going. That name
I
is going
started
crazy
enjoying his
underground.
music. I started enjoying his music. I still enjoy his music. And I need to work more with him, man, because he kind of put me in a space to like kick, hey, I'm Wavy the God, like I got a song in the scene, you know, and it featured another artist named Sauce Heist and Tyler Dale, you know, and that was like my first actual real, song that I did. That's the first artist I worked with in the scene, in the underground scene, to make a mark,
Okay,
milestone moment, And
is
then,
is that is that when Wavy the guy got his name, or did you get
for
it
the most
before
part,
Jamal Gasol?
my Wavy was from me enjoying Max B so much that all my Floridian friends,
This is why I
my
like you.
My Floridian friends was like, oh, it's the Wavy nigga again. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's Wavy. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's the Wavy guy.
See, I
You know what
knew
I'm
it was.
saying?
I knew it was something about you, man. I don't know
And
what it
then,
is.
and then on top of that, um, my IG handle used to be Wavy the Supreme Farmer because I used to be a farmer.
Hmm.
Then when I finally found my niche in the production world, I just dropped the farmer shit and I just became the god, man. Because good humans always win in daily. That's what it stands for. Like
That's a dope
I was
acronym.
on I was actually on some like-minded, seeking out like-minded people to like work with and thrive with, and that's what the God stand for. God is like when in Planet of the Apes when this motherfucker put the branches together. That's what God is. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. That's a hell of an analogy.
Yeah, it's
S-
strength, man. It's unification.
So I'm not in the music industry as far as an artist or a producer. I only had the luxury of working around certain people. And one thing I noticed is in order to be in the music business, you actually have to understand the business part of the music industry. And I know that after after COVID, the music business got a little funny for everybody.
hmm
What is the most valuable lesson you learned as a producer on the business side of hip hop?
I learned never to give your stem so freely.
For people
Never,
who don't know, what are stems? I know, but just for the people who's gonna watch.
Those are the nucleus, the chromosomes, the bones to your music that you create. Those like your drums, separated, like your kick, your snare, your hi-hat, your sample chops, your all the little tidbits that you put to your little offsetting. You know, everybody got their own tick and their own rhythm. Every
Hmm.
little cadence that make you command that machine to do what it do, they're taking that and they could do whatever they want with it. You know, without your consent, unless things ain't right.
Up and
I
coming
mean,
producers, I hope you listening about this. It's a valuable lesson.
that's without your consent. Sometimes, you know, and then sometimes there's little stipulations because I don't know everything about the business aspect, but I know enough to just be enough, just to be literate enough. The stems is just the minuscule part because you have to send your stems off to get mixed down and mastered and whatnot. But it depends on what type of situation you're sending your stems to. You know,
Mm.
you know, are you sending your stems to a bigger label? You know,
That they're gonna do
versus an
something with it
independent
without you. Yeah.
artist that got his own engineering guy. I'd rather send my stems to the independent guy with his own engineering guy. I question the label shit. That's when split sheets and all that other shit got
Can
to
we
go
go?
into play.
Yeah. Can we get into that? Because I think
Cause
that's another part of the. I learned that, and again, I'm not a producer. Shout out to my boy Rod Raspy. He told me this early. He's like, man, look, even if I know you, even if you my homeboy, them split sheets got to come out, man.
even with the other shit, I was about to add on to that. Like even with because it's good to practice good business. If we're independent artists, I think it would be good for each other to like start practicing better business with each other. Start being half-assed and word of mouth because sometimes word of mouth it wouldn't be good enough. Because when people start growing in their career, that shit won't mean nothing after a while. You got to put everything in black and white for your own protection, especially when you have different entities that's involved in your brand that you create. They're gonna want explanations for certain things when especially when it's business. Everything got to be in black and white. You
That
know.
that's definitely understood. And last part of the business, what can you? How much can you stress the importance of signing yourself up as a producer to ASCAP and BMI so you can register your own beats before they get published without your consent?
Well, ASCAP is just uh uh is just a form of protocol. It's one form of protocol to copyright. You ask,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
To copyright your beats. In order to copyright your beats, like that's just one avenue, the ASCAP and BMI. That's just that just go hand in hand with publishing
yeah. Gotcha.
and,
Okay.
and
Okay.
sound exchange. For
Gotcha.
those who don't know, and if you're an artist that take your shit serious, you got to get tapped in with a sound exchange situation and publishing because publishing, sound exchange, and ASCAP or BMI, I
That's
probably
gonna
got to get.
collect.
And I was told the other day that I need to get a BMI or because I just can't only have a ASCAP.
Yeah. Don't
I got
BMI find like if your stuff is out there on YouTube and at
yeah,
least this is what
and
I.
acting because I got acting roles.
Mm,
I did an acting role on Discovery Channel on reality TV type shit. You
okay.
know what I'm saying? And that was during the pandemic, and like I got you get publishing off of that. So well let's rewind back a little bit and stay on course though. Um, in order to copyright your production, what you do is they have like this thing that you could go and hit up. It's in DC actually. I forgot the name. You all you gotta do is Google up how copyright patent when people need a patent shit.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is Google that. You Google that, it'll pop up right there, some government shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
you could either turn in files, you could turn in inventions, you could turn in whatever you want. Whatever you created, you could turn it in and you could get it copyrighted and it'll get your intellectual property will get an ID number. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? As a producer, since we send in files, and from what I remember, you turn in you could turn in one or two songs, but you pay like a big ass fee, like I could be wrong. Let me just throw a number out there, 179, right? But instead of just putting one beat for
You
179,
you
you
should
could put like a
20.
shitload in
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
You
yeah.
could throw a shitload in there and still pay only 179. So it's best to just take like a stockpile of beats and put it in there into that. I forgot the name of the shit. Pardon me, but I
Hmm.
know this is the avenue you go to copyright your production and get a ID number, a copyright, and that's the route,
Gotcha.
You gotta be religious on it. You gotta. I'm gonna be honest. The way I describe it is foretelling that I don't do it too often,
Hmm.
but I need to do it. Like this is something that I need to do more often, and I advise other producers to like look into that because if you're really into like copywriting your beats, yeah, that's the avenue you got to take. It's not based off of ASCAP or BMI. That's only for publishing payouts. You know.
You just educated me on something. That was a hell of a gem. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully that educates the producers out there. Um, Before this interview, I was doing my homework and I watched a snippet. There was a snippet interview that you did with the platform, and you were talking about when you moved to NYC to chase your dream, and you were talking about bouts that you had at one point where you were, if you don't mind me saying, pretty much homeless.
Mm-hmm.
How did that time? Because you said in that interview, it was only a minute clip. You said, "Yo, I'm chasing my dreams because I believed in myself, and I knew this was gonna work." How did that time shape who you are today? Because I know there had to been something in your head saying, "Look, I'm homeless. It's NYC. The weather's tough, man. Maybe I should go back to Florida."
I wasn't, well, although I did turned up homeless around, I feel like one of the most coldest winters in NYC I experienced in my 7 years of being here. Um, wasn't, I had a responsibility to make sure that me and my daughter wasn't on the motherfucking street. So we ended up in a shelter, you know? So I was in a shelter and I was making beats out the shelter. I was still in motion, you know? Nothing stopped.
Mm,
Nothing stopped. I was losing my mind in there, all type of shit. It's normal shit that men actually experience. Nobody it equates to like when a person is sitting inside of a jail cell, I imagine. It equates to like you see Pursuit of Happiness. You
yeah.
seen how Will Smith locked himself in the goddamn bathroom with his son? Like you felt like he was just in this box. I was in this box. And I was doing everything in my power to stay creative, to like stay focused. You know, what's weird when I was in that place, I, you know, around that time, that's when my music was starting to like actually make some form of real motion. You know,
Mm,
D,
that's
I have
interesting.
one of my heroes is spinning my records on this show. Like DJ Premier spin, what I'm saying? And then, DJ Premier spin the records while I was in there. You know what I'm
How,
saying?
how did that? You just gave me a gem right there. You just gave me a gem. So you had kind of like a KRS One moment. For the people who don't know, maybe you're young. KRS One talked about how when he was pitting out his records, well, the first record he ran up to DJ Red Alert. Was it
Mhm.
Red Alert?
I
Cool
think I
DJ
heard him
Red
say,
Alert to play his record, and he was going through his bout with being homeless, and he heard it while he was in the shelter.
hmm
So that record that he put out against MC Shan, "The Bridge Is Over" or whatever, cool,
that was
cool DJ
great. That
Red
was hard.
Alert. Yeah, cool DJ Red Alert was playing it on the radio and he heard it. So you had one of those KRS One moments when you heard DJ Premier playing your record and the situation you was in. How did that make you feel?
Man, I'll be lying to you, man, if I told you that, dude. I used to cry like a baby, bro, because it didn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And like, and it wasn't only his show. Like that fucking Peter Rosenberg played my shit when I was in there. Like I was sick. It was sickening for me. But like, it was just like, you know, this shit was gonna like make me into a ultimate warrior type shit. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna be a normal dude when I get out the situation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not,
Gotcha.
I'm not, I'm, look at me. I'm not fucked up right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in a better spot right now. I'm in a better place in life right now as far as that go. But like, all I had to do was just keep my mental fortitude in place and, stay creative and keep on my task. And, you know, I was on my shit. I have friends that really held me down, man. I had friends that really held me down when I was in there, man. A lot of legends, not a lot, but I had a few people, notable people, held me down as much as they could when I was in that situation because it wasn't as bad. It was bad, but it was weird because I had my little one with me. You feel me?
I have a saying, and I know I didn't create it, but I heard it from somewhere, and it's basically suffering builds character. Suffering builds character, especially for us men, and definitely seemed like it built a lot of character in you as a person because you're
More
still
humility,
standing.
if anything.
Definitely,
You know?
definitely. So I want to fast forward, not really fast forward, but just to get into some underground movements. So doing my research outside of certain people that you work with, I'm noticing a collective of individuals have come together and been putting music together, and that name is the Walkers. So
Okay.
if you could educate me, I know you work with a lot of artists, but
Mm-hmm.
I noticed some of your works with this group called the Walkers. So
Mm-hmm.
as far as the underground movement in hip hop, can you give us a breakdown of who are the Walkers and what position do you play in that?
Man, the Walkers is like the masterminds at the table, like collaging and sharing resources and ideas, man. That's the producers, me, the standouts, Don Carrera, fucking Artivist. We got Passport Rav, we got Rim, Eddie Kane, we got Rome Streets, China, we got Aida, we got Spoda, we got Emilio Craig, uh, we got Frankie Smacks, we got O Dog, uh, what else we got? What else we got? Oh man, am I missing anybody? Man, I'm fried right now, man. We got a thing. We got a large collective. We're not like a rap group per se. We're just a crew of brothers that respect each other because we was getting emotion around the same time, and we was all involved
Yeah, I
in
was
that
bubbling.
stage. Yeah, we was bubbling together, coming up together in a lot of ways, and we were sharing resources and stages, and just imagine, it's a collective.
And I definitely want to salute y'all for what y'all doing. I know you said y'all not a group, but what I respect is that, as you said, sharing resources. Because this industry of hip hop, there's a lot of gatekeeping on all aspects. So anytime you get more than two or three people that can pit like minds together, share resources, and be stand up individuals, and it's more than three, y'all. Like you named, it sound like 10 people or more.
All
So
right,
I see y'all
14.
all jump. Yeah, I see y'all jumping on each other projects, doing verses, producing. So for the underground and hip hop right now, I think what y'all doing are really, really major, and I hope it works out for the long run. I hope you guys can stick together as long as you guys can stick together.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely will, man. I think there's a underlying respect and humility and humbleness that keep us together as far as how we converse with each other. We joke a lot. We joke a lot. I could say that. So I think that as long as we can laugh about things that have nothing to do with the music, I think we're gonna be fine, man. You know,
That's
we
big.
joke like I can't even front, man. We joke a lot. We laugh a lot. So even if we're far away, yo, Ty Ferris. I knew I
Ty
forgot her name.
Ferris.
Ty fucking Ferris, man. Shout out to my Capricorn brother, man. Like
Now, if
Ty
I
Ferris
recall,
is another. He's a major component to the Walkers. One of the
now,
forefathers, you know.
now if I recall, Ty Ferris also, I'm just doing my homework. I'm spitballing. He's affiliated with Bars Over BS.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't want to
his.
get. I
That's
don't
his
want to get
baby.
wrong. Okay, I
That's
don't
his
want to get it
baby.
wrong. So salute to Ty.
Everybody, pardon. Everybody in the Walkers is their own entity. It's just that we come together. Like I
Like
said, it's
Voltron.
humbling. Exactly. And when the time comes, it might just be some Voltron shit. It might, and we chose not to be like that. We chose not to like put a project together or anything like that. Bars Over BS, that's his baby. You know what I'm saying? That like, and that's some dope shit that he's doing over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, it's bubbling. Watch that shit. Watch that shit after
Like I
sunset.
said, as a consumer, me, I'm just a fan. Everything that y'all doing, the videos, the guest verses, the production, like I respect the hell out of it, man. It's some dope underground
I
shit. So
appreciate you.
big salute to all you guys over there.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
As a producer, I'm pretty sure you had a chance to work with a lot of artists. So I remember watching a Kanye interview a while back, and he said when he was in the studio, Jay-Z laid a specific verse. He quietly walked out the room, went in the bathroom, and called his mother and said, "Mom, it's a wrap. We out of here." From an underground perspective of a producer, have an artist ever laid a verse on one of your beats and you was just like, God damn, this is about to make history? Not monetarily, I'm just talking about from an art perspective.
That'll be the good homie Rome Streets. Dude, there was so many instances. There's so many shit that we did. Like it is like I know that it will resonate. I feel like we make like timeless shit, like on some shit. Although the album was short, it was viciously short. And when I mean viciously short, it was like it was a vicious album, like it was a very lo-fi-esque. It was very Madlib inspired soundscape as far as like the grainy sounds and whatnot, and his delivery. Yeah, like he took some of my simplest joints. Some of these joints I made on my goddamn cell phone. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Now,
The what the not to, Facts of Life was made on my cell phone.
okay,
Like I made that shit on Koala. You know, and and that's what I enjoy. I love sending like my simplest productions to my most vicious artists that I work with, and I feel like Great God was like the Facts of Life was definitely one of those ones that was like, damn, this might be like a timeless record that we just cultivated here. You know what I'm saying? Like
hmm
it's a deep song. A lot of people could like relate as a parent, you know? And then,
definitely.
so it's a toss up between those two, man. I can't, there's a few records that Rome did that was like phenomenal with me. But like, even on his own personal projects, but like, Great God, that was a phenomenal record. I couldn't count that one out either.
Gotcha. Um, I really think producers and DJs are starting to get respect. Not saying they didn't get the respect before. I just remember there was like a weird patch in hip hop where anybody could send beats, so it was kind of hard to pick out who the producers were that was sticking. Like if you heard Cardiac, he had a specific sound in certain producers. So I'm gonna go with a quote. I remember a producer told me like a producer can put out a beat CD without a rapper with no
Hmm.
lyrics, and it will sell or it will resonate with the culture. But
I
a
agree.
rapper, but a rapper cannot put out a CD with just lyrics and no beats. Nobody's gonna give a fuck. Part of my
True.
language.
Hmm.
He said that back in 2010, and that salute to Rod Raspy. He said it, so I'm gonna credit him, and that stuck with me. I was like, you're right. So the context of me saying that is, I kind of feel like producers play a bigger role right now in the underground, especially since the underground is on fire. You're starting
Hmm.
to see more artists work with one producer. Starting to see a lot of that, a lot more.
Hmm.
Our artists doing whole projects with one producer, not five producers. Does that put pressure on you as a producer that now, like, the respect factor is going back up for producers and now I really got to hone in, or do you accept that challenge?
I always accept that challenge. Like I accept the challenge of doing whole projects. Like I think that's like the like I think that's a like I think that's a respect thing. If a artist takes if a rap artist, an
Mm-hmm.
MC choose one particular producer to do a whole project with. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it would be kind of like an honor. You know why? Because it's easier to make money that way. You know,
Mm.
without everybody being like slighted. You know, and in all reality, I feel like that's just my perspective. People could think I'm wrong, but like I think it's like the easier way. It's like when a boxer gives another boxer an opportunity to fight him,
On his
or it's like
undercard. So now you got to split the purse. Okay.
it's like that. It's like that's what it is, and that's how I'm always gonna look at it. To otherwise, because sometimes it'll be with your homie too. It'll be with your homie. Like I have a home, like I got the homie over here doing his thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a little, he's not even little. He's on a bigger scale than me. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So he come do an album with me. That's like in a way, that's kind of like, you know, boosting my lore to the story. You know what I'm saying? It's
Gotcha.
he's putting a spotlight on me and helping me out getting to the next level, the next plateau. You know, to get with the rest of my peers that I met along the way, knowing him. People that I never thought of me. But hey, it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a few more questions before we wrap this up.
All right, bro.
As I stated in the beginning of the interview,
Hmm.
the underground of hip hop is on fire. Like there's too much going on from New York to Florida to the West Coast to the Midwest. There's a
Hmm.
crew somewhere with some dope underground artists in every city doing their thing. What is catching your ear as a producer on the underground right now, outside of what you're working on with Rome Streets?
All right. I fucks with my guy Pro Dillinger and them, man, and Mickey and them. I fucks with them. I fucks with my guy XP and them. You know what I'm saying? XP the Marksman.
Okay.
You know, the chain out there in the West Coast, man. I fucks with them too, man. Dirty Diggs and them, Planet Asia, yeah. Those guys are doing their thing out there on that side. Shout out to the chain. Um, who else? In the Shy, I got love for the Shy, man. I got my peoples in the Shy.
Salute the
Vic
water.
Spencer, Water, and Rufus Sims. Those are like my guys that I've been paying. I've been paying attention to Chris Crack too, man. So Chris Crack here, this man, I haven't chopped it up with Son in a minute, but like he's another one that's dope too, man. Like uh Canada, you got Ace on Eastwood, I got my man's Sonzarelli, man, Danielson, Future Wave in them, man, Sibrox. See, I think he's from Canada too, man. Like, I think there's a few dope ass producers from Canada that make some good ass beats, man. Like, you know, Nick Craven, Nick Craven, man. Like he doing this thing, man. Like he making motion right now. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Brain
that
Orchestra too. He's another producer slash rapper that I fuck with. Like that does his thing, man. He out there in Jersey and shit.
I think that's important too to hear from you from a producer. Like, yeah, as a consumer, I can name people I'm listening to, but to get the opinion of a producer that's making the music during this current era, that's definitely a lot of gems, and it's gonna help me go out and find these people to listen to their music.
And that's excluding the rappers that's not in New York now. These,
Hmm.
because we got Spanish Rans and the V Dons. You can't not mention those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Big
You
salute to
know,
them.
because there's part of that cloth, man. Like the V Dons and the Wavy the Gods, the Spanish Rans, that's who's and there's a few more producers in NYC it's a small bunch that's holding it down out here, like in the scene,
Hmm.
and and that's what it is. Just to add in, I don't mean to cut you off, brother.
No, go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. You got it. You got the floor.
Gotcha. Now that, like I was saying before, I think it's important to hear from producers who are the underground sound, because we might have our favorites. I might say, "Oh, I'm a big fan of 38 Special," but then that's me keeping my mind locked on one area. You just
Hmm.
put me onto three or four different coasts with more regions. So big salute to all the artists that you named, because now that's going to make me, as a fan of hip hop, go seek out their music and see what they're
Indeed.
doing.
Hmm. And
So
you might be, not even might, you're going to be impressed because there's a lot of dope dudes out there that's really doing their thing, man. There's guys out there that's really doing their thing. My man Sherm, he's a dope ass producer. He puts out good records with artists out there. Sherm makes beats. You know what I'm
is
saying?
he from
Like,
Jersey?
no, he's out here in BK. He out here in
Oh, okay.
Brooklyn.
I thought, no, because I know somebody from Sherm named Jersey, but go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, he's out here. You know, he does his thing. Shout out to him. You know, the standouts, like I mentioned from earlier, from the Walkers, you
Hmm.
gotta check them out. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Don Carrera because Don Carrera got like a good catalog for himself. Shout out to him. And my man Artivist, he got an album with Rome Streets called Joe Raya. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like the Trojan horse right
Hmm.
now. My man's Artivist. He's a rapper slash producer.
So I'm still listening to your catalog because it's starting to expand all the way from
So
Full Court Press. You got 2 Full Court Presses out. You got projects with Rome Streets. You got your EP. As you're expanding your catalog, what's next for you? Maybe not project wise, but what are you looking to get into as a producer moving forward?
I mean, my initial goal is to actually make residual on a constant basis where I don't have to be in the rat race as one of the underdogs, but it's
Okay.
fun being underdogs. And that's the nicest way I could put it. Because although I do music with people top tier lyricists and you know I feel like I don't get full on respect in the business world. The consumers, I get respect. When it comes to like the business people, I feel like they don't give me the respect. So I gotta and it's not in a negative way. It's just like everybody has their vision, their perspective of how things should be, how things should be run, and
Hmm.
maybe I don't fit the criteria or my vision isn't aligning with theirs. And sometimes that's just what it is. But sometimes you just got to get the leverage in order to like people see your because sometimes leverage is the thing that make people see eye to eye in the
Yeah.
most nicest ignorant way I can say it. So leverage
So
is the
now I got
key.
I got one more question that just came up to in my head. Speaking about leverage in business, would this have to do with like, because another part of business I heard is like getting synced. I'm not a producer, so are have you got records synced in like games and shows and stuff like that, or is that not what you're talking about?
It's more so building me as a producer. My goal is to get it's like rare Pokemon cards,
Ah, okay,
it's like the
okay.
rare Pokemon cards
You
of
got a
verses.
Charizard. Okay.
You know, there's so many rappers I know. I produce for rappers that nobody don't even know. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I produce for rappers that everybody know. You know, and my goal is to like really get like that rare verse for somebody you never expect. You
Mm.
know, it'll be crazy if Freddie Gibbs rap on a Wavy the God beat. It'll be
Put
crazy.
that out in the universe. Put that out in the universe, man.
I'm just saying, like, it'll be crazy if think of somebody that the combinations. It's just like when you go into a restaurant, a fusion restaurant, and you have to and you see all these different types of fusion food, like half Arabic, half Italian, some weird combination, and you're curious to how it might turn out. You know,
It'd be
you know.
crazy. It would be crazy if a Doche, what's her name? Doche? I want to pronounce her name
Mhm.
right. The TDE artist from the West Coast hop on a wavy beat. I'll put
That'll
that
be
out in the
dope.
universe, man.
That'll be dope. That'll be dope as fuck. That'll be different. You know what I'm saying? It'd be dope if I end up working with a scissor. You know,
Mm.
Because I would go that angle. I would go that angle, hit niggas left field. Because I'm not gonna like just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the word? Like, I'm not gonna like subject myself to like one little area.
Mm-hmm.
I think SZA makes some dope ass
So,
soundscape and music.
God damn, like I keep coming out with questions now. Now you hitting me with something. Cause I think I asked the producer about this and he hit me with a left field. He's like, yo, I want to produce an R&B album. It was I want to say the producer Sonaro. He's Fab's producer. Um, if you had to do a project left field, meaning outside of the lane you're currently in,
Oh shit,
what
here
would
we
be the
go.
project that you would wanna do?
I want to do a Japanese album. I want to do a Japanese hip hop album. I want to find the dopest dude out in Japan and do like some gritty ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Because their
You know hip hop is
demographic,
big out there, man.
it's not just to like be a clout chaser for Japanese clout.
Hmm.
It's just more so I feel like they would appreciate it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie, I appreciate some of their culture. I think
Have you
it's
done your research on any of their artists? Do you know any up and coming like Japanese artists that you're doing research on?
man. Funny story is I asked like a week like last week I had asked the homie Rome. I was like, yo, because he went to Japan. And I was like, yo, son, do you know any Japanese MCs? Who's like the dopest nigga in Japan? So like, put me on. He was like, yo, I don't know no valid MCs. Like, he's not shading nobody. He just didn't, because when he went out there, everybody was like embracing him,
Hmm.
you know, but he didn't really get the time to research. So I was really asking around, I didn't want to be atypical and just go on YouTube because everybody is like, I don't know, I don't trust it. I just
Yeah.
feel like that because I really want to find that guy because I really am oblivious to that. Somebody that is like somebody that it'll be dope if they could be bilingual too because we could probably play with some shit. But I would love to do like a Japanese hip hop album. It
That's
would be
left
dope.
field, man.
Yeah,
That's left field,
Or French.
but that would be dope.
Yeah, it would because the demographic is going to take care of itself. It's going to take care of itself. If you look at the demographic where you choose, I don't need to get the approval of United States to be successful with the project.
Nah.
These
You
people
just said
might,
France. There's mad countries, not just in France, but even on the continent of Africa that speak French. So
and Wavy the God is popping in Paris, in France. Wavy the God is popping in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Wavy the God is popping in the most bizarre parts of the world.
you reading them
Literally,
analytics.
yeah.
You reading them
Like,
analytics.
no, I read it. It said 126,
Mm.
126 global. Like, and that's weird. Even if it's small percent, the small percent is still a chunk for a guy like me. I'm just a grain of sand on the beach. I'm a speck of space dust in orbit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. So it's amazing to me, you know?
So I'm gonna put this out in the universe when I post this clip on the internet. If there's any artists out in Japan, let's make hip hop wavy again and connect with Wavy the God and whoever's the dopest artist in Japan on the hip hop tip. I would want to see and hear that. I think that'd be dope,
Get
man.
busy.
That's a great idea.
Get busy, man. Fly out there, do some shows. You know what I'm saying? Put a show together, bring some people over, combine some folks and throw a concert. You know what I'm saying? Like that'll be a vision. That'll be like a cross branding, and then the fashion out there is fly as fuck too, man. Like their fashion, their streetwear is like
And we all
insane.
know what happens when hip hop and fashion collide from all cultures.
Yeah.
You
Like
just get some dope shit.
yeah, because I'm like heavy on that and then other things. And, it's just a lot of dope things that's overseas that I want to see, man. And I feel like sometimes you gotta give a little to gain to gain what you need to gain. I would love to give an album because I would love to see their land.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, before we get out of here, you told me about a dream of yours, which is what you just named. Is there anything else that your fans could expect within the next 3 to 6 months that you got about to drop?
Well, besides me mentioning that I'm putting the Muses Embrace V1 on all streaming platforms, I'm gonna be shit. What? I might just drop a fucking beat tape. What, 5 days till the month is over?
Hmm.
How many days, right? Five?
Nah,
Something like
it's
that?
what's it, the 15th? So we got like 2 weeks. We got
Two
2 weeks.
weeks? Yeah, I'll probably drop like a beat tape, or around the end of the month or so, or the beginning of the new month. And probably, well, we're gonna get a V2 probably 2 to 3 months after that. Music's
Okay.
Embrace.
You
I
gonna
gotta
do?
put some,
Okay, that's what's up.
maybe it's not etched in stone, but
Ah,
I got a cover and everything for it already. I got music already for it, but like I feel like I need to add more to it. This first one is like an EP. The whole goal is that I'm gonna add more tablets into the scriptures. You feel me? I'm just gonna like after each volume, I'm gonna add more music as I go. Like volume two, gonna have maybe 2 or 3 more tracks more than the first one. And
building it
then
up.
you see where I'm going with this,
Hmm.
right? So, but I'm not gonna go too crazy with it. I'm gonna keep it in a respectable realm because one is an EP and one might be a LP, and everybody be confused. But not all things gotta be the same. It don't everything. We don't gotta conform to what people expect, man. This is rebel music. You know what I'm saying?
Now, right now, like I said, the lane is wide open. Whatever you doing, man,
Hmm.
you ain't got to take orders or instructions for nobody. Just create the art.
I
Create
have
the
no
art and put it
boss.
out.
I have no boss. I do what the fuck I want and structure my music how I want. I'm the Kirk Franklin of my shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm the choir director. I'm the nigga that makes sure and wags the Beethoven stick and makes everything is right in my in
Mm,
my in my symphony. You know what I'm saying? Like,
controlling
so,
the symphony.
yep, indeed. And I like it that way, you know.
So I just wanted, as I said before on the phone, man, I just want to thank you for taking your time out to tell me a little bit about yourself.
Word.
Hopefully in the future we can connect for a part two of the interview when you drop some more music and
True
keep this
indeed.
thing going. Because as I said, my purpose for this platform and when I'm doing these interviews is to keep shedding light on what's going on in the underground, whether it's a producer, a DJ, a artist, a battle rapper, everything that's going on in the underground right now. I just want to keep shedding light on it. So it
Word.
was a pleasure for me to sit here and share some time with you to learn about your story and your journey in hip hop right now, man. So big
Yeah.
salute to you, Wavy to God, man.
Yo,
Just definitely
salute
want
to
to
you,
salute you.
brother. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Definitely. For the people that's going to watch this on the playback, hopefully you picked up some gems. Hopefully you learned something about the production game, about Wavy the God story. Hopefully you heard some gems as far as artists to go check out.
Mm.
So for everybody that's going to watch this on the playback, whether it's one person or whether it's 1,000 people, big salute to y'all and big salute to tuning in, man. Wavy, I'm going to let you go enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you,
Stay
sir.
blessed, my brother.
All right, salute, man.
All right.
Peace.